So, starting off this week's meeting of the Federated Council. We've had a lot happen over this last month in-game. Trade routes are completely shut down. Normal shipping trade routes are completely shut down outside the peninsula of Cormanda and Calumet. Ships are not returning from there. It's thought to be whatever force has taken over Cormanda is also blocking all shipping routes through there. So that is this entire passage through here. Nothing is getting through. And on that note, the nation of Cormanda has finally fallen. The last city that was holding out has finally collapsed about a week ago. So the entire nation of Cormanda is under a completely unknown foreign rule right now. Over here in the Waste of Time, expeditions by the Dragonkin forces have continued to ramp up. More and more ships are seen entering the Waste of Time, namely this little area over here around 2108. Battles continue between Central Faldor and Faldori Reformed right along the border here. Talnor is able to procure other agricultural needs to help feed their populace as they've begun retreating more and more from the territory that separates these two superpowers. The Council of Wizards has finally ended. It's signified by sparks that are shot from the giant tower showing the end of it. An announcement is expected soon. Nobody knows what they're meeting about, but usually once they're done meeting, giant events end up unfolding afterwards. Pillaging continues out of the nation of Yormanturner up and down the eastern coast as per usual. Whispers over in Ashai have begun about tales of witches apparently roaming through the lands here. This last week, during the negotiations between the eastern and western sides, the industrialists and the mages of the nation of Pathrax, during a peace conference there to try and negotiate a peace, an explosion occurred, killing and a lot of people, injuring many more, and leading to both nations blaming each other, although it is still at this time unknown who caused the explosion. Over here in the Central Seas, there's been an influx of pirates hitting all the ships between Befrelena, Kalintra, the Collective, and the lands of Mordai. The Jarl-Kesh Dominion has begun to fortify their borders between them and Cormanda. Since there is only a small little passageway here, they begin to build fortifications and large walls along that pass. Calumet has hired a prestigious mercenary company to guard its borders along the northern and western pass between them and Cormanda. Fortifications are being built up, although there has been no sight of any enemies from Cormanda, although no one still knows what those enemies are. There's been very few refugees that have come out of Cormanda, and most seem too scared to describe the events they witnessed, outside of describing them as horrors or beasts or monstrosities. Over in Krervost, there has been growth in dissent among the population there. A lot of people are still unhappy with the peace treaty that was signed a few years back between them and Alanvost after their civil war, and a lot of the population is calling upon Krier to lead another incursion against Alanvost. Does anybody have any questions? Anything they need clarified on?
Have there been any updates on the prisoner breakout from that prison island?
There have been multiple bounty hunters that have gone out in the northern part of the continent of Faldor looking for him, and several marshals actually from Howlin' Holly out looking for him, but nothing beyond that besides a large reward for any information on him.
But they didn't have any information about who the person was, just that somebody escaped. So what is the information about who they're looking for?
All that was given was that it was prisoner 8945, believed to be very dangerous, and there was a portrait of him. Just looks like a man with long hair.
Human with long hair?
Mm-hmm.
Could you touch on the pirates near Alawaste again?
There's been an increase of pirates between Kalentra, Bay Forlana, and the continent of Mordai.
Forlana responded.
Continued as usual. Piracy is not anything new in that part of the world, or anything new for them, as they are primarily seafarers. A little bit of increased security, but it is something that they're used to dealing with.
So essentially like the Caribbean.
Yeah, more or less.
Is there anything specific you need from us this week for our moves and plays?
Remember that each of these weeks are actually a month in game time. There is actually quite a lot you can do within a month. So, then to summarize, let's see, and make sure I don't miss anything quickly. Cormanda's fallen. Calimate, they've hired a mercenary. Ja'al-Kesh Dominion has begun fortifying their borders. There's dissent in Krivast, an explosion at a peace summit in Paphrax. Shipping is shut down outside of, or trade routes have shut down outside of Cormanda and Calimate. Piracy is up in the southern seas. The expedition has doubled. The Dragonkin expedition has doubled down in the Wastes of Time. There's rumors of Faldori witches in Ashai. Talnor is recuperating from recent battles between Central Faldor and Faldor Reformed, and raids have continued as per usual out of Jormunturner. And also, the Wizard Council has finally...
Are there any nations that are on the verge of calamity at present time? Any sort of invasions, collapses, or revolutions?
Well, there's the dissent going on in Vost. That continued civil war in Paphrax. Continue war between Central Faldor and Faldori Reformed. Now that Cormanda has fallen, there's a lot of uncertainty whether this unknown force is going to continue their expansion or just hold up there, although many think it's likely they're either going to continue into Calimate or Ja'al-Kesh Dominion. Those are all the big calamity size stuff going on. Anything outside that's public. Anything outside of that takes some investigation on your guys' part. Alrighty. I think with that, if we don't have any follow-up questions, I'm gonna end the recording there. Told you this be a really quick one, or this should overall be really quick until everybody kind of figures out who everybody is.